start. Hey, young, early in the season, what are some of the takeaways you have now? I know you've had injuries, but just a quick eval. What's been good? What's been a struggle a little bit?
Well, I think we're trending in an okay direction. I'll say that. I mean, the first game was the first game. Second game, we, get a little better. Third game, a little better. The last game against Atlanta, was a little better, and just we're trending the right way. Specifically, we got a clean sheet. We had a ton of open play crosses against Atlanta, which we're going to work on later in the week, just being a little bit more effective in the final third. Having the right balance of, because we need to create enough shots inside the box as well. Some of them come obviously from open play crosses, but shots outside the box, in and around the top of the penalty box, we want to try and work on just so that we can generate enough offense to get, again, 2 to 3 goals, which was, kind of what we did at the end of last year.
The link-up play between the midfield and the defenders, I know team defense, happy with that. You've got a clean sheet, like you said. Has that been...
Yeah, against Atlanta, which was a very good team. It was great to have a clean sheet. Steph had to make a couple good saves. I thought Tony stepped in and did a good job. So there were plenty of positives there, and, Ozzie, Christian doing their normal thing.
Thanks.
Health of the team looks pretty good right now. Brad Evans participated in full. You're almost 100% healthy. What's that mean for the roster to get Brad back?
A lot. He's a versatile guy. He was penciled in as my starting right back, and things are, looking good for him to join the team very soon.
And granted, he's set the bar incredibly high, but it seems like Nico might not have been as sharp these last couple weeks as he was over the stretch run of last year. Is that a fair reading, and how would you explain that?
I would probably say that's a bit unfair. I think what you saw in the last game, if we're just talking about the Atlanta performance, he was almost too amped up to play. I told you guys he was like fired up to play, and it was almost like he was trying to take the whole team on his shoulders. He doesn't need to do that because we've got a good team. So finding, again, that balance of doing what he did last year, when teams now are, setting up their game plans to deny him touches and deny him space. I think that's going to be the learning curve for him, and just having faith in his teammates. We got a good team. If he plays the ball, he's going to get it back again, and he has to believe that.
For sure, and you guys kind of eased a couple guys into training camp and into the year, trying to give them a little bit more of a break. Did you guys do that with Nico, and is maybe that part of it, him just kind of getting back into his own form?
He said he got married and he had some time off, some well-deserved time off, because he was going, right from Boca last year into us. So, yeah, he falls into that category a little bit, but he's so super fit that we sometimes forget that, he is actually human and he does get tired. So we try and balance that with, the amount of work we give him, like on days like today where we know he has a day off tomorrow, so we can push a little bit because he likes to be pushed. And then, the rest of the week will be strategic in how we push him.
Sure. How would you describe the chemistry between him and Clint? Where's that at in terms
It's getting
of where
better.
you want it to be?
Still a work in progress. Still a work in progress because, again, you have to factor the other guy. And we're talking about Nico, but you have to factor Clint in. Yes, he, had a good performance with the national team. Some of his games were us where, again, he's trending in the right direction. But it's still a work in progress. It's still a work in progress. It's a long season. We're 4 games in.
You said you've talked to us before about how this team is traditionally a good road team.
Mm-hmm.
As you get set for San Jose, a place you've only won once since 2010. What is it about maybe Avaya Stadium or San Jose in general that has caused the Sounders so much problem?
Another stat that I wished I never knew. Well, I do actually remember James Riley's red card, and we got smashed, was it 4-0 or something down there? I do remember that game. So, yeah, look, a rival, West Coast rival in our conference, good team, good coach. I couldn't pinpoint it other than, we used to play in a much smaller stadium in past years where it was really compact and tight, and Dom liked the press, the Bash Brothers, all that. Avaya's a little bit bigger, plays a little bit bigger, so, I think our last couple of games, we got a draw there when Oba scored. I think we've had a couple of okay results, a couple of draws.
And then San Jose is, like Atlanta, is another team you guys faced off in the preseason. I know that one was more of a scrimmage, but is there anything you can take from that match heading into Saturday?
No, we're watching their game film of their last couple of games.
Brian, I want to take you back to the discussion about Nico and when he passes to the teammates. Is there special emphasis then for players to get him back the ball after he passes that? Or that's just...
It's soccer. There's 10 guys out there, 11 guys out there with Steph, or the goalkeeper. So getting rid of the ball, moving to a new spot, playing it, he might not get it directly back from the player he passed it to. He might get it back from a guy over here. He needs to continue to run, continue to move. We continue to find him in good spots. It's all fluid.
Do you get much of an opportunity to watch other leagues, other teams outside of
Not as much as I'd like. There's a ton of Saturday games, and the game last night. I mean, not much.
When you watch those, are you looking to scout other teams, or are you looking to try to learn something about the game?
Sometimes I enjoy it just as a fan, because if there's rivalry games or whatever, if there's Champions League games, you're watching as a fan, because I love watching soccer. The other part of it is, you always try and see little things, a player that might catch your eye, and then, you go to Kurt or Chris and say, hey, can we afford that guy? And, stuff like that.
Going back to watching, are you going to be watching the NCAA tonight, and do you have a pick for us?
Well, of course, I'm going to go with the home state team. I mean, that's an easy question.
Yeah, it's softball for you.
Yeah, that's an easy question.
So S2 yesterday got its first one of the season. I believe you were there. Shea Adekoya and Zach Mathers, two first-team guys, scored. Henry played. Tyler looked good in goal. What were some of your takeaways from some of the first-team guys who played in that match?
They all played well. It was a good game. I thought Ezra got his tactics right. They scored first, but the response of the group was good. You always want to get a response out of your team, so a lot of positives. You had a chance to get some guys some minutes, get their game sharpness, game fitness up. So there was a ton of positives there.
You had kind of a back line, against Atlanta. There's a little different backup guys, especially with maybe Svensson or even Alfaro. Like, if everybody's healthy, did that game kind of give you kind of reason to have to pick or choose in case?
Sure.
Were there any decisions that are going to be harder for you after that?
Yeah, absolutely. Tony and Gustav were very good.
And even with if Roman's ready to go, is like Svensson...
Makes my job harder.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
When you have 3 games on the road like you do here coming up, what are some challenges that come with that type of consistency being away from home?
Well, just the logistical challenges of getting your team somewhere and getting them tucked into bed and a good meal and all that sort of stuff. Each team is different. We're gonna focus on San Jose. That's it. We're worried about Vancouver after that.